If I Ran the Zoo by Dr. Seuss. Can't get through the letter Z without doing this. This is a fun book. It's a pretty good zoo, said young Gerald McGrew, and the fellow who runs it seems proud of it, too. But if I ran the zoo, said young Gerald McGrew, I'd make a few changes. That's just what I'd do. The lions and tigers and that kind of stuff they have up here now are not quite good enough. You see things like these in just any old zoo. They're awfully old-fashioned. I want something new. So I'd open each cage, I'd unlock every pen, let the animals go, and start over again. And somehow or other, I think I could find some beasts of a much more unusual kind. That looks a little dangerous just to let them all go. Maybe he should give them to a different zoo. A 4-footed lion's not much of a beast. The one in my zoo will have 10 feet at least. 5 legs on the left and 5 more on the right. Then people will stare and they'll say, "What a sight! This zookeeper, new zookeeper, Gerald's quite keen. That's the gall-darndest lion I've ever seen." My new zoo, McGrew Zoo, will make people talk. My new zoo, McGrew Zoo, will make people gawk at the strangest odd creatures that ever did walk. I'll get for my zoo a new sort of hen who roosts in another hen's top knot, and then another one roosts in the top knot of his, and another in his, and another in his, and so forth and upward and onward. Gee whiz! Check that out. They all go up. So cool. I wouldn't like to be the one on the bottom. Don't you think that would get kind of heavy on your head? Don't know. But that's just the start. I'll do better than that. They'll see me next day in my zookeeper's hat, coming into my zoo with an elephant cat. They'll be so surprised they'll all swallow their gum. They'll ask when they see my strange animals come, "Where do you suppose he gets things like that from? His animals all have such very odd faces. I'll bet he must hunt them in rather odd places." Doesn't that look crazy? "And that's what I'll do," said young Gerald McGrew. "If you want to catch beasts you don't see every day, you have to go places quite out of the way. You have to go places no others can get to. You have to get cold, and you have to get wet too. Up past the North Pole where the frozen winds squeal, I'll go and I'll hunt my Skeaglemobile, in my Skeaglemobile, and bring back a family of, what do you know? And that's how my new zoo, McGrew Zoo, will grow." So those are called What Do You Know? They have kind of like or not elephant tusks, but maybe walrus tusks? Tusks of some kind. "I'll hunt in the mountains of Zomba-Montant and with helpers who all wear their eyes at a slant, and capture a fine fluffy bird called the bustard, who only eats custard with sauce made of mustard." That doesn't sound like very good custard to me. "And also a very fine beast called the flustered, who only eats mustard with sauce made of custard." Kind of crazy. So 2 different ones. "I'll catch 'em in countries that no one can spell, like the country of Matafapel." That's even hard to say. "In a country like that, if a hunter is clever, he'll hunt up some beasts that you never saw ever." Ooh, I wonder what he's going to find. Do you see the one hiding up here? So cool. "I'll load up 5 boats with a family of jotes." What are jotes? whose feet are like cows but wear squirrel skin coats, and sit down like dogs but have voices like goats, excepting they can't sing the very high notes. Isn't Dr. Seuss fun? He always has interesting things going. And then I'll go down to the wilds of Nantucket and capture a family of lunks in a bucket. Then people will say, now, I like that boy heaps. His new zoo, McGrew-zoo, is growing by heaps and leaps. He captures them wild, he captures them meek, he captures them slim, and he captures them sleek. What do you suppose he will capture next week? So check this out. That looks hard to get out of there, doesn't it? I'll capture one tiny, I'll capture one cute, I'll capture that deer no hunter will shoot. A deer that's so nice he could sleep in your bed if it weren't for those horns that he has on his head. Those do look kind of pokey. And speaking of horns that are just a bit queer, I'll bring back a very odd family of deer. A father, a mother, two sisters, a brother, whose horns are connected from one to the other. Oh my goodness, that is tricky. Can't tell where they end, can't tell where they start. Each deer's mighty puzzled, he's never yet found if his horns are hers or the other way round. Isn't that kind of crazy? Yeah, if you look, this one goes like that and comes back into there, but it's tucked in with this one. So crazy. I'll capture them far and I'll capture them scrawny. I'll capture a scraggle-foot mulligatawny, a high-stepping animal fast as the wind from the blistering sands of the desert of Zend. This beast is the beast that the brave chieftains ride when they want to go fast to find some place to hide. A mulligatawny is fine for my zoo. So is a chieftain. I'll bring back one too. So there they are. So in the far western part of southeast North Dakota lives a very fine animal called the iota. But I'll capture one who is even much finer in the northeastern part of South Carolina. When people see him, they will say, now, by thunder, this new zoo, McGrew-zoo, is really a wonder. Check out that awesome blue hair. Most beasts are quite friendly, but still, in some lands, some beasts are too dangerous to catch with bare hands. For those that are ugly and vicious and mean, I'll build a bad animal catching machine. It's rather expensive to build such a kit, but with it, a hunter can never get bit. That sounds like a good idea. Doesn't that machine look cool? And you want to watch out for those teeth. That's probably the problem there. And then, a zoo should have bugs, so I'll capture a thwirl whose legs are snarled up in a terrible snarl. And then I'll go out and I'll capture some chugs, some keen shooter, mean shooter, bean shooter bugs. That's so crazy. Dr. Seuss thinks up many crazy animals. I'll go to the African island of Yurka and bring back a tizzle-top tufted mazurka, a kind of canary with quite a tall throat. His neck is so long if he swallows an oat for breakfast the first day of April, they say, it has to go down such a very long way that it gets to his stomach the 15th of May. That's a long time. Do you think his neck is longer than giraffes? Could be. I'll bag a big bug who is very surprising, a feller who has a propeller for rising and zooming around, making cross-country hops from Texas to Boston with only 2 stops. And that sort of thing for a bug is just tops. And when I've caught him, the next thing you know, I'll go and I'll capture a wild tic-tac-toe with X's that win and zeros that lose. He'll look mighty good in the zoo of McGrews. Doesn't that look like fun? I'll bring back a gusset, a gherkin, a gasket, and also from Gooch from the wilds of Nantasket. And 8 Persian princes will carry the basket, but what their names are, I don't know, so don't ask it. Oh my goodness, look at all those crazy things. In a cave in Khartoum lives a beast called the Natch that no other hunter's been able to catch. He's hidden for years in his cave with a pout, and no one's been able to make him come out. But I'll catch him and coax him with a wonderful meal that's cooked by my cooks in my cooker-mobile. Ooh. They'll fix up a dish that is just to his taste. 3 chicken croquettes made of library paste, and then sprinkled with peanut shucks pickled and spiced, then baked at 600 degrees, and then iced. It's mighty hard cooking to cook up such feasts, but that's how the new zoo, McGrew gets beasts. Is that kind of like the old-fashioned version of a food truck? Could be. I'll go to the faraway mountain of Topsk, near the river of Nopsk, and I'll bring back an Opsk. It's a sort of a kind of a thingamabobsk, who only eats rhubarb and corn on the kopsk. Then people will flock to my zoo in a mopsk. McGrew, they will say, does a wonderful jobsk. He hunts with such vim and he hunts with such vigor. His new zoo, McGrew Zoo, gets bigger and bigger. So crazy. And speaking of birds, there's a Russian Paluski, whose headski is redski and belly is blueski. I'll get one of them for my Zooski McGrewski. He makes reading a book a little challenging. Then the whole town will gasp, why this boy never sleeps. No keeper ever kept what he keeps. There's no telling what that young fellow will do. And then, just to show them, I'll sail to Katroo and bring back an Itkooch, a Preep, and a Prue, a Merkel, a Nerd, and a Seersucker too. I wonder if his zoo is getting full. I'll hunt in the jungles of Hippo no Hungus and bring back a flock of wild Bippo no Bungus. The Bippo no Bungus from Hippo no Hungus are better than those down in Dippo no Dungus, and smarter than those in Nippo no Nungus, and that's why I'll catch 'em in Hippo no Hungus instead of those others in Nungus and Dungus. And people will say when they see these bips bounding, this new zookeeper, simply astounding. He travels so far that you'd think he would drop. When do you suppose this young fellow will stop? Kind of looks like they have a target on their tummy. Stop! Well, I should, but I won't stop until I've captured a Phizma-Wizza-Madill, the world's biggest bird from the island of Guark, who only eats pine trees and spits out the bark. Oh boy! When I get him back home to my park, the whole world will say, young McGrew's made his mark. He's built a zoo better than Noah's whole ark. Those wonderful, marvelous beasts that he chooses, have made him the greatest of all the McGruises. That is one huge animal. Wow, they all cheered. What the zoo must be worth. It's the galldarndest zoo on the face of the earth. Check it out. So amazing, many amazing things on those pages. I'm having a problem getting the page turned. Oh, there we go. Yes, that's what I'd do, said young Gerald McGrew. I'd make a few changes if I ran the zoo. Oh, what crazy animals he has. Well, your zoo paper does not have so many crazy things on it, just something that you've probably seen before and something that Kayla loves. So you are going to do the dot to dot, and then you want to add more stripes of the right color and write the animal that starts with a Z right down here. There was also a worksheet for today, and it looks like this, and you've been doing a lot of these, so this is the ing word family. So do this side first, and then over here, and you are good to go. Tomorrow, you get to make a zebra hand puppet. So glue the head part on the bottom of the bag when you have it flat. And then you lift up the flap a little bit, and then you glue the legs on this part. And then you'll be able to put your hand in and make it move like that. So have a great time.